The battle rages on. Black smoke fills the air and burns your eyes. The heat is too great to bear as you march forth into this fiery hell. A mechanical monstrosity collects corpses strewn across the ground as an army of undead soldiers lay waste to everything in their path. Voices scream out for help from within the smoke. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Black Magic Craft. This week I am going to be showing you my take on a classic tabletop wargaming build, and that is fire markers or smoke markers. Guys have been building these things for a very long time, especially in the wargaming scene, but I am willing to bet many of you have never seen it before or don't know how to build it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to show you an alternative way, my version of this classic build. These are a fantastic way to really add some dynamic excitement to your table. If you are doing a big epic battle or there's a town under siege, whatever it may be, putting these simple little flame marker smoke thingies on your table is going to cause a lot of excitement. I promise. The best part about this build is that it does not use any expensive material, hard to find material, complicated tools, expensive tools, nothing. It is really simple and straightforward, and you can pick up everything to make this, tools included, at a store like Walmart. And in fact, a lot of the materials can actually come straight from the dollar store. If you have a hard time finding foam or some of the other stuff that I use, don't worry, it's not involved in this build. Let's start a fire. The foundation for this build are those cheap LED flickering candle tea lights that you can pick up at the dollar store. Not these ones that change colors, but these ones, the ones that just have the yellow kind of candle flicker. Pick up a bunch of these. You're also gonna need some polyester stuffing or filler. I got mine at Walmart. There's a lot of different types of stuffing, but you're looking for this stuff, the really fibrous polyester stuff, and not the cotton that's more in balls. You wanna remove the rubber piece covering the LED so that it shines a bit brighter. Then take a clump of this polyester filler and just hot glue it to the tea light. Use a bunch of glue here, make a little indent, and squish it in a shape that is kind of reminiscent of smoke. Then take them outside and spray paint them using the cheapest flat black spray paint that you can get your hands on. You're going to want to apply more paint towards the bottom and less towards the top. This will make them look a little bit more airy and a little bit more like an actual bonfire. You may also find that once this dries, it's hardened up the polyfiller a bit, but not as much as you might want. So adding another coating of a clear coat will stiffen these up even more. You can use any clear coat, but I use this Mod Podge stuff just because it's horrible and it really is not good for any other purposes. Once the polyfiller is painted, it's a good idea to attach it a little bit better to the tea light. Now that it's more solid, you can get a better bond. You might need to give it a bit of a haircut so that the excess sits nice and flat on the bottom of these smoke pieces. And that's it. This is the full basic method for creating tea light smoke markers. Really, really simple. However, like me, you may want to make a set with more decorative bases, and there's two reasons for this. One is that it can look pretty cool, but two is that it gives it a solid, heavy footing for this kind of light poly filler to sit on so that you can actually grab the pieces by the base and not constantly be squishing this, soft poly filler. So to do this, I'm going to channel my inner DM Scotty, and I'm just going to use some toilet paper, water, and PVA glue to create an earth-like mound around the tea lights. This is about as cheap and easy as it gets. All you have to do is wet some toilet paper, put some PVA glue on it, add some more water, and sculpt it into place. You can keep adding glue and toilet paper until you get it looking the way you want it to look. You can immediately coat these things in sand and gravel. You don't have to wait for the toilet paper concoction to dry first, which is nice. However, the kind of crappy downside to this method is that overall this toilet paper takes an incredibly long time to dry. One way you can speed up the process, however, is by putting the pieces in a hot vehicle to sort of bake and accelerate the drying time. And while those are drying, you can get to work on making the timbers that will feed these bonfires. I used a mixture of popsicle sticks, coffee stirrers, and bamboo skewers. This gave me some variance in the size and shape of wood that I was using. I made them look more like timber by roughing them up with a rotary tool, but you don't need to use a fancy rotary tool. You could just use a knife for this. The goal here is to make them not look like popsicle sticks. I pre-painted all of the wood using a very watered down dark brown, just like I did in my ruined tower video. Once the toilet paper mounds were dry, I put some hot glue on the bottom of them and pressed them into some parchment paper. This gives you a nice flat kind of rubberized surface on the bottom side of your terrain. I'm using a new glue gun here that was sent to me by a viewer. Thanks, Will. So far, I really like it, but this is the first project I've used it on. Once I've had some more time with it, I'll give you guys a review of it. To paint these things, I was able to prime them using a flat black spray paint because there's nothing on these that would melt. And you may have noticed that unlike the first batch, I've left the rubber LED flame cover thing on these, and that's because it acted as a perfect mask when spray painting these. Once the spray painting was done, I cut them away and I revealed just the LED so that these would be as bright as possible. I kept the paint job really simple on these. I just gave them a dry brushing of a gray and then another dry brushing of a white. I wanted these to look more like ash than rubble. The only kind of extra painting I did on these was I took some very vibrant orange and I did a little bit of really basic object source lighting and dabbed on some of this orangey paint around the flame to kind of enhance that look. Once the painting was done, I could take the wood that I had pre-made and start breaking it into smaller pieces and gluing it in place on this mound. I did do a little bit of dry brushing with a black to make it look a little bit charred, and then a little bit of that same bright orange to give it a bit of the glow from the fire. I pre-painted some tufts of the polyester filler black, and I was able to then glue them in place. Once that was all done and complete, I coated the whole thing using a spray varnish. As you can see, this is a very simple and approachable build, but it also looks really cool when complete. And you can do them the simple way that I showed first, or you can do some more complicated bases like I showed second. Either way, they're gonna look cool on your table. If you want to pick up any of the tools or supplies that I used in this build or in other builds, you can head over to blackmagiccraft.ca. That's where I have my essential equipment store with links to all of the things that I use and recommend. Making purchases through those links helps fund these videos. The other way you can help fund these videos is by supporting Black Magic Craft on Patreon. It is the funds from those Patreon supporters that allow me to make these videos every single week for the community. So I would love for you to check it out and become the newest member of the Black Magic Craft Fellowship. That's it, guys. I hope you found this video useful and informative, and most of all, inspiring. I hope that you guys get to work building your own cool flame smoke markers for your game. Hit that like button and drop me a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this build. If you're new to the channel and this is the first time you've stumbled upon Black Magic Craft, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out my back catalog of other cool terrain building videos. I got lots. That's it for this week, guys. Cheers and happy gaming.